Hello everyone, welcome you all. Let's start our discussion and solve question paper of CUCD 2018. In the last video, we have completed up to question number 55. So in this video, we will start from question number 56. Question number 56. A source of sound is traveling with a velocity 40 km per hour towards an observer and emits sound of frequency 2000 Hz. If the velocity of sound is 1220 km per hour, then the apparent frequency heard by an observer is. From Doppler effect, we know that when an observer is moving away from the source, let with speed Vo, and a source is moving towards the observer, let with speed Vs, then the apparent frequency observed by the observer, that is f dash, is given by f naught times V minus Vo divided by V minus Vs. Here V is the speed of the sound in the medium. So here speed of source is given 40 km per hour. We can convert it into meter by second by multiplying it with 5 by 18. So now it is equal to 11.11 meter by second, and the frequency of the source is given 2000 Hz, and the speed of the sound in the medium is 1220 km per hour. So this can also be converted into meter by second by multiplying with 5 by 18, and it is equal to 338.8 meter by second. So now using all this given value in the formula, we can calculate this apparent frequency. Here V naught is not given in the question, so we can take observer to be at rest. So V naught equals to 0 meter per second. So apparent frequency f dash equals to f naught times V by V minus Vs. So now using all this value, you will find that it is equals to 2067.79 Hz, or approximately you can write 2068 Hz. So your correct option is option C. Question number 57. The value of the integral where the contour C is the unit circle, that is mod z minus 2 equal to 1 is. From Cauchy's residue theorem, we have this. Now here the given contour is circle centered at 2, 0 with radius 1 unit. Now if you find the pole of this given complex function, that is z equals to 0, lies outside this given contour. So according to the Cauchy residue theorem, the value of the integral will be 0, as the pole of the complex function lies outside of the given contour. So your correct option is option D. Question number 58. The solution of the differential equation d square y by dt square minus y equals to 2 cos hyperbolic t subject to the initial condition is. This is non-homogeneous differential equation. So its complete solution will be consist of complementary function plus particular integral. So let us first calculate complementary function for this given differential equation. Complementary function. So the equation will be m square minus 1 equals to 0, d square y by dt square minus y equals to 0. To find complementary function, we have to write in this equation in homogeneous equation form. Okay, so from here we can write the auxiliary equation m square minus 1 equals to 0. So from here m square equals to 1, or m equals to plus minus 1. So complementary function will be c1 exponential t plus c2 exponential minus t. Now using the given boundary condition, so y at t equals to 0 is 0. So from here c1 plus c2 equals to 0. Using the second given boundary condition, that is dy by dt, that it will be c1 exponential t minus c2 exponential minus t. it is given that dy by dt at t equal to 0 is 0. So using the boundary condition c1 minus c2 equals to 0. Now solving these two equations, you can find that c1 equals to c2 equals to 0. Next, let us calculate the particular integral for the given differential equation. So particular integral equals to 1 by d square minus 1 to cos hyperbolic t. We have cos hyperbolic t equals to exponential t plus exponential minus t divided by 2. So using this, 2 and 2 will be cancelled out. So particular integral equals to d square minus 1 times exponential t plus exponential minus t. Now 1 by d square minus 1 exponential t plus 1 by d square minus 1 exponential minus t. Now here if we use the value of coefficient directly, it will be 0. So we have to use the derivative formula. So it will be t divided by 2d exponential t minus t by 2d exponential minus t. So t by 2 exponential t minus t by 2 exponential minus t. Sorry, here the coefficient is minus, so it will be plus. So now t exponential t plus exponential minus t divided by 2, and this is cos hyperbolic t. So this is equals to t cos hyperbolic t. So your complete solution, complementary function plus particular integral, which is equals to t cos hyperbolic t. So your correct option is option C. Question number 60. A particle of mass 0.5 mega electron volt per c square has a kinetic energy of 100 electron volt. Its de Broglie wavelength will be. We have for an electron moving in potential V with energy E, the wavelength is given by 12.27 Armstrong divided by square root under V. Here energy is given at 100 electron volt. So E times V equals to 100 electron volt. So potential V will be equals to 100 volt. So from here wavelength lambda equals to 12.27 Armstrong divided by square root under 100. So it is equals to 1.227 Armstrong or approximately. Question number 61. An electron has a speed of 4.8 into 10 to the power 5 meter per second, accurate to 0.012%. With what accuracy the position of electron can be located? Speed of electron is given, which is accurate to 0.012%. So del V will be equals to 0.012 divided by 100 times 4.8 into 10 to the power 5 meter per second, which is equals to 57.6 meter by second. Now we have to find the position, accuracy of position. So from Heisenberg uncertainty principle, we have del x times del px equals to h cot by 2. So from here del x equals to h cot by 2 times del px, which is equals to h cot by 2 times mass into del v. So h cot is 1.054 into 10 to the power minus 34 joule second divided by 2 times mass of electron, that is 9.11 into 10 to the power minus 31 kg into del v, that is 57.6. This is equals to 1.00 into 10 to the power minus 6 meter. So your correct option is option A. Question number 62. The position and momentum of 1 kilo electron volt electron are simultaneously determined, and if its position is located within 1 angstrom, the percentage uncertainty in the momentum is. Energy of electron is given, that is equals to 1 kilo electron volt, which can be converted into joule, that is 1 times 10 to the power 3. 1 electron volt is 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 19 joule, and del x is 1 angstrom, that is equals to 10 to the power minus 10 meter. We have to find percentage of uncertainty in momentum, that is del px by px times 100. So using uncertainty principle, we can define del px, that is del px equals to h code by 2 times del x. So that is equals to 1.054 into 10 to the power minus 34 joule second by 2 times 10 to the power minus 10 meter, which is equals to 5.27 into 10 to the power minus 25. Now energy is given, so Px will be equals to square root under 2me. Now this is equals to 2 times mass of electron, that is 9.11 into 10 to the power minus 31 kg times energy, that is 10 to the power 3 times 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 19 joule, which is equals to 1.70 times 10 to the power minus 3. So now percentage of uncertainty in momentum will be equals to 5.27 into 10 to the power minus 25 divided by 1.70 into 10 to the power minus 23 times 100, which is equals to 3.1 percentage. So your correct option is option C. Question number 63. Radiation from the Big Bang has been Doppler shifted to longer wavelength by the expansion of the universe, and today has a spectrum corresponding to that of a black body at 2.7 Kelvin, the wavelength at which the energy density of this is maximum. From Owen's law, we have lambda T equals to approximately 0.3 centimeter Kelvin. For calculation purpose, you can use this. Here a temperature is given, so we have to find out the wavelength. So lambda equals to 0.3 centimeter Kelvin divided by 2.7 Kelvin. So Kelvin will be cancelled out and only there will be centimeter. So you can calculate this. This is equals to 0.111 centimeter or 1.11 millimeter. Question number 64. The relaxation time for damped harmonic oscillator is 50 seconds, time in which the amplitude and energy of the oscillator falls to 1 by E of its initial value is. So relaxation time for a damped harmonic oscillator is given. Okay, first thing, you can check this question is repeated in CUCET 2021, question number 58. Okay, so here relaxation time is given, and we define relaxation time as the time taken for the amplitude to drop 1 by E times its initial value. Now again in question it is asking time in which the amplitude falls to 1 by E of its initial value, which is the relaxation time. So the time will be equals to 50 seconds. So your correct option is option A. Question number 65. The capacitance to produce ultrasonic waves of 10 to the power 6 Hz with an inductance of 1 Henry is. So frequency here is given by 1 by 2 pi times square root under LC. L and F are given. So from here we can write C equals to 1 by 4 pi square F square L. Now using the value of L and F, we can find C, that is 1 by 4 times 3.14 square times 10 to the power 12 times 1. Now which is equals to 0.0253 into 10 to the power minus 12 farad, or 10 to the power minus 12 is pico. So it is 0.0253 pico farad. So your correct option is option A. Question number 66. The quartz crystal of thickness 1 millimeter is vibrating at resonance. The fundamental frequency of the quartz crystal is Young modulus and the density of the quartz crystal is given. See, this is the case of formation of ultrasonic waves through piezoelectric effect, in which quartz crystal is used, and where this quartz crystal vibrates, and that quartz crystal vibrates with a frequency given by 1 by 2 times the thickness of the crystal times square root under gamma by rho. So now using the given value you can find out the fundamental frequency. So it is 1 by 2 times thickness, that is 10 to the power minus 3 meter, square root under 7.9 into 10 to the power 10 divided by 2650, which is equals to 2.729 megahertz. So your correct option is option B. Question number 67. The vector field given by A vector equals to yz I cap plus xz j cap plus xy k cap is. So here we have to check whether the given vector field is solenoidal or irrotational. For solenoidal, we know the divergence of the vector field should be equals to 0, and for irrotational vector field, the curl of the vector field should be equals to 0. Now let us find the divergence and curl of the given vector field. So divergence of A will be equals to del y del x yz plus del y del y xz plus del y del z xy. So it is 0 0 0. So this is 0. So divergence of A is 0. So the given vector field is solenoidal. Now let us check for the curl of the vector field. I cap, j cap, k cap, del y del x, del y del y, del y del z. Now Ax component, yz, ay, xz, and az is xy. So this is equals to I cap x minus x minus j cap y minus y plus k cap z minus z. So this is equals to 0. So curl of the given vector field also 0. So it is also irrotational. This is j cap, okay, plus j cap, not minus, plus j cap. So the given vector field is both solenoidal and irrotational. So your correct option is option C. Question number 68. A gallium arsenide LED having band gap 1.3 electron volt operates at 1.5 volt and 5 milliampere in forward bias. Assuming 80% external efficiency of the LED, number of photons emitted per second is. LED power output given as P equals to efficiency times I by E times energy of photon, that is h nu. So from here we can define number of photon P by h nu. Let number of photon be small n equals to efficiency times I by E. Efficiency is given and forward bias current is given, and E is the electronic charge, 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 19 coulomb. So efficiency is 0.8 times current 5 into 10 to the power minus 3 ampere, charge 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 19 coulomb. So you can calculate this, and this is equals to 2.5 into 10 to the power 16. So your correct option is option D. Question number 70. If U, F, H and G represent internal energy, Helmholtz free energy, enthalpy and Gibbs free energy respectively, then which one of the following is a correct thermodynamic relation? Okay, to find out the thermodynamic relation, you can remember a trick like statistical physics and thermodynamics validates under following guidelines and useful hints. So from here we can write df, like df equals to minus s dt minus p dv, dg equals to v dp minus s dt, du equals to t ds minus p dv, and dh equals to t ds plus v dp. Remember, whenever s and p will appear in the equation will be used with a negative sign, and the side ones will be act as variable. Like for f, t and v are variable, for g, p and t are variable, for h, s and p are variable, and for u, s and v are variable. So in this video we have completed 15 questions. We will continue in the next video. I really hope this will definitely help you in preparation of your exam, and if you like this video, don't forget to like, share and subscribe to my channel. Thanks for your time.